What is good, my dudes? It's your boy ZRG. Before we begin, I have a few quick words that I think are important for you to know. Ready? Go! Small percentage, algorithm, subscribe, it's free, it helps a lot. Change your mind or don't, I love you. Alright, now that we're done with that, let's get on with the video. With Among Us blowing up in 2020, it's only natural for the new Airship map released on 31st of March to get as much hype as it did, all for a good reason. Considering that the game only featured 3 different maps up to this point, one can easily see why the Airship is such a big deal. Those who have already played it have experienced a lot of positives and negatives, from constant server failures and the general overwhelming feel the map gives off due to its size and the sheer amount of brand new tasks, to awesome mechanics like choosing your spawn point or having the option of fixing the light sabotage from 3 different spots on the map. But today I'm here to talk about mechanics. You might remember my previous video on the Among Us game mechanics from a while ago where we talked about skilled and how to be as efficient as possible as a crewmate. Now we're looking at 7 things you need to know about the Airship. Number 1. All aboard. Let's kick things off with spawning in. While all other maps have you start every round after the first one next to the emergency meeting table, the Airship offers everything but. Namely, the game will provide you with 3 options for spawning at the beginning of each round and will set a timer for you to decide. If you let the timer run out, you will be spawned in one of the 3 options selected at random. This is a great way for you to get to your tasks faster, especially after the initial round. As an imposter, it's a smart tactic to confuse the crew by waiting it out and spawning in last, then later on claiming you've spawned as far away from a dead body as possible. Beware though, as this carries a risk of someone camping one of the spawn sites to make sure nobody was late to the party. Number 2. The electrical maze. No matter which map you're playing, the electrical room has always been synonymous with dead bodies. It's basically where you go to die as a crewmate. The Airship follows suit, but with an extra layer of traps set for anyone unlucky enough to be assigned with a task in this room, an ever-changing maze of walls and doors. Surely you'd think that you'll be able to memorize the path towards salvation after a few tries, but there's a catch. The maze changes every game. Although there's only a few options the game will cycle through, it's still an elaborate trap to catch crewmates in a room that already has very low visibility. This invites imposters to exploit the maze to their advantage by hiding corpses or themselves, while it deters crew from going in by themselves or if they don't have to. Number 3. Correcting the course. As all Among Us veterans know, there are 3 different sabotage options on every map. Killing the lights, shutting down communications, and causing a malfunction in the reactor have been available to imposters so far, which is pretty much the same for the Airship, except one difference. Instead of the reactor sabotage, the new map lets imposters set the Airship's course for a crash, which will end the game in the killer's favor if not addressed in time. Unlike the reactor sabotage where 2 players have to hold down the hand scan simultaneously, the crash course sabotage requires players to punch in an emergency code on 2 different panels within the same window of time. Both panels need to be active for this to work, and the codes need to be punched in before they change again on both ends. Another interesting thing about this particular sabotage is that although both panels are in the same room, that doesn't mean players are able to easily go from one end of a room to the other. One option is the flying platform that goes across the gap in the appropriately named room, and which can only carry 1 player at a time. Furthermore, if the platform leaves your side, you have no way to call it back. Instead, you have to take the long way around to reach the other panel in the gap room. Needless to say, the nature of the crash course sabotage with all of its fresh mechanics makes it arguably the best asset in the imposter's arsenal on the Airship. Use it wisely. Number 4. Cracking the safe. Yet another freshly introduced task that came with the new map is the unlock safe task in the cargo bay. A lot of players struggle with the task mostly because it's not exactly clear as to how you're supposed to complete it, but fret not, ZRG is here to show you the way. This task consists of 2 parts, entering the combination and opening the door. While the latter is done by a simple twist of the door lever, the combination mechanism can be a little bit wonky. The trick to doing this one properly is to not let go of your left mouse button once you start turning the wheel. The game will not only tell you which 3 numbers you have to select, but also which way the wheel needs to be turned each time. So once you start, just follow the instructions that pop on the screen while holding down your left mouse button until the combination is fully entered. Number 5. Back to the kitchen. The Airship came with more than a few unique rooms, one of which is the kitchen. This is where one of the most interesting tasks can be found: burger making. You're now thinking, ZRG, making a burger is easy. Just put a bun, some lettuce, slap a patty on it with tomatoes and onions on top, and close it off with another bun and you're done. Well, although this is how burgers might be made in real life, Among Us doesn't really respect the tradition in that regard. First off, you can't even make a burger with cheese in the game, which is an absolute heresy if you ask me. And secondly, the burger doesn't have to include all available ingredients on the list. Like many other things on the airship, this task is randomized in terms of the order and number of ingredients included in the process of burger making each time. Plus, it varies from player to player. Sometimes you'll have to create the closest thing to a regular burger complete with buns, patties and veggies, while sometimes you'll just stack a bunch of lettuce and onions on a plate with no meat or bread in sight. Meanwhile, another player in your game will have the same task but with completely different ingredients. In any case, don't let the game confuse you too much with this one. Simply click on the piece of paper hanging from the top of the screen to see your ingredients, then drag and drop each and every one in the same order onto the plate, and voila! You have made a cheeseless, bunless stack of meat and onions. Good luck trying to make that pass as a burger. Number 6. What of you? The download-upload data has been a staple task for every map in Among Us, and the airship is no different in that regard. However, it still features a catch to it, but this one can actually be beneficial for the crewmates. Traditionally, the first part of the mission where you have to download data is randomly chosen from the set of rooms that have the download panel in them, which works the same way on the new map. The upload part, on the other hand, doesn't have to be done at the same spot every time, as it was the case with older maps. The game will always point you to the bottom left part of the airship where the viewing deck is located. But what if I told you that there is a second viewing deck where the same task can be completed? That's right, if you go into the security room, you can find a doorway in the bottom wall which leads to the second viewing deck, complete with a nice spot where you can upload your data by moving the gadget around until you find the strongest signal. Plus, there are no nearby vents there, so imposters are unlikely to hang around this place. Number 7. Stacking records. Finally, we'll end things off in the records part of the airship. One of the most back and forth quests featured on this map is definitely the sort records task, which will have you running from the table littered with folders to a random shelf or drawer where you're supposed to place any given folder. The reason behind this task being so tedious lies in the fact that the game requires you to do this one record at a time. You pick up a folder from the center table, go to the designated storing unit, and place the record inside. Rinse and repeat 4 times and you're done. However, in these early stages of the map, you can trick the game and complete this task in one go, if you're lucky enough. Once you pick up the first record, go to the drawer the arrow is pointing to, and repeatedly click at the empty space until the game determines you've placed down 4 folders in quick succession. Keep in mind this only works on the horizontal ones, while you cannot do this on the shelves as of making of this video. Although it may feel like cheating to some of you, in my opinion this is a nice way to shorten a task that's designed to keep you in one room for a prolonged period of time. So use this whenever you can before the developers patch things up. And that's it. Hopefully this video will help you become more aware and more knowledgeable while playing the new Among Us map so you can be better at crewmating and impostering. Tell me what you think and let me know if there's something I should have mentioned but didn't. And as always, like, share and subscribe to keep up with my awesome content. It's free for you and means a whole lot to me. Thanks for watching. Zerstroyer out. Peace! My pants are faster than my legs, yo!